John Cole with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for. It's the Hurom H200 versus the Nama J2. Now here's the thing. Each one of these juicers have their own sets of pros and cons, things that are good, things that are bad about them, and which one is best? Well, you're gonna have to watch this video to find out all the differences between these two machines. If you guys look at these from the outset like, they look like the same thing, John! Are you high? No, I'm not high. I don't do any drugs, like illegal drugs or anything. They both got the automatic feed chute hoppers, but the similarities end there. You're going to learn about the even minute differences that most people would never understand, but me as a juicer who has been juicing straight since 1995 and selling juicers online for over 20 years and testing more juicers than probably anybody in the world that I've ever met, actually. If you met somebody that tested more juicers than me, let me know because I want to pick their brain. Then you're going to want to watch this video. In this video, I'll be sharing my personal opinions. Also, besides my opinions, I'll be sharing some stats, some specs, and some things that I come up with on my own in my mind. But also, more importantly, we'll be doing an actual juice-off comparison with even amounts of produce in both machines. Now, the thing I also will say, and I'm going to want to ask you guys a favor, actually. If you guys appreciate my videos and like my work and appreciate that I do these videos and get these expensive machines, over $1,000 of machines right here, and do the testing so that you don't have to buy both machines and then return the bad one, right? Please support me and my work. You can do this in a few ways. Number one, you can make your purchase at DiscountJuicers.com. We sell the Nama juicer currently, and I would sell the Hurom, but Hurom refuses to allow me to be a dealer in the US, and I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I'm gonna put that out there. The other way you can support me besides buying direct at Discount Juicers is by using my promotional code on the Namawell website. My promotion code is linked down below. It is currently DJJ210. That's good for 10% or $55 off the Nama J2 juicer for a limited time only. If you use my code on the Namawell website, they will give me a little commission that'll allow me to continue to power my lights to buy expensive juicers so that I can test them for you guys so that you guys don't have to. And your support is greatly appreciated. It lets me know that my work is needed and valuable to people out there. And I'm not just the only crazy guy that loves playing with juicers. Maybe some of you guys want to also. So I really want to thank you guys for those of you guys who have purchased from me and have used my codes in the past. I want to thank you guys in advance who will purchase from me in the future. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this video may be watching from outside the USA. The USA is my personal territory. I don't really support or can help people outside the USA, unfortunately. And in the USA, both these models are available, but I understand that many people around the world are unable to get the amazing Nama J2 juicer. But I got word from the birds in my ear that coming in the first quarter, hopefully, of 2022, the Nama J2 will be available in different plug styles, including Europe and, Australia and UK and all these things for you guys out there. So please subscribe to my channel because as soon as it is available, I will be making a video about it, reviewing it, and trying to figure out how I can plug a 220 into my house. I have a dryer outlet port that I may have to run an extension cord in to use the 220 volt machine, but it will be available. So my personal tip for you guys is after watching this video and you guys want to get the J2 but are unable, I would say save up your pennies now, or your euros or pounds or whatever you guys use, and wait for the J2 because I believe it'll be worth it. Now here's the thing I'm also going to say, I haven't tested this Hurom yet. This is the first time I'm using it in this very video, but I have tested their previous version, their Easy Clean version, which is basically this machine less the automatic feed chute hopper. And in my past tests, that machine has not fared too well. It basically put more pulp in the juice and made a lower yield. And to me, the cleaning time wasn't like that much less, than cleaning a traditional screen. Also, there's some potential issues with the screenless design. So I have not been in favor of the screenless design, although that's a bet that Hurom is making with the peoples of the world that maybe don't watch my videos, because like people think, oh, it's screenless, it's easier to clean. Here's the thing they don't tell you. The screenless design generally has 2 parts to clean versus the screen design has 1 part to clean. So now you're cleaning twice as many parts. So if you are scrubbing down your screen like you should be, because you can get, you know, mineral deposits, like if you're juicing celery, celery will leave massive mineral deposits if you just rinse it off every time. That will then reduce the performance of your machine over time. So I encourage you guys always to scrub with a scrub brush and soap. That helps as a surfactant to pull off those mineral stains, and most people just rinse it under the sink, maybe just brush it off haphazardly with water. That ain't gonna cut it. You guys are gonna have some buildup and challenges in the future, whether you have a screenless design or screen design. So those are my tips for you. And you know, and I wanna go ahead and continue on with this video. All right, so over on this side, we got the Hurom H200. This machine cost $150 more than the NAMA. So is it worth the extra $150 you're gonna pay? Well, it does have some features that the NAMA does not, and some few things that are different about it. You know, my money is actually on the NAMA because I have quite a track record with the NAMA, and I've compared the NAMA against other juicers on the market. You know, links down below to those videos, and I've clearly seen how the NAMA is superior to other vertical single auger juicers on the market due to its design. And you know, here's the thing, NAMA took literally 3 years to design and perfect and get this machine right. They were the first company in the world actually to want to design a machine with a large feed chute hopper with no bars or no hindrances inside the chamber, and they perfected it. That being said, I'll tell you guys right now that these 2 machines are made in the exact same factory because Hurom is NAMA's manufacturing partner. NAMA worked closely with Hurom, and I don't know all their dealings behind closed doors, but somehow, you know, NAMA came up with their machine, and then, you know, Hurom also has a very similar machine. Who copied who? I'm not gonna get into a pissing fight. But, you know, nonetheless, we have 2 machines, and they each take a little bit different direction, you know, which may be good or bad, and that's what we're going to discover in this episode. So the first thing I want to go over is the price. As I mentioned before, the Hurom is $150 more in the US than the NAMA J2. So it's a more expensive juicer. Is it $150 more better? Well, I don't personally think so, but maybe you'll think so after this video, but let's watch this whole video to find out. Now, the other thing that's very important to me, especially if you're spending that much money on a juicer, these things are expensive, guys. They're more expensive than maybe like a whole stove or a fridge that you would buy for your house. It's a juicer that's going to sit on your counter, you know. But these things, in my belief, in my opinion, in my experience, can change your life more than just owning a refrigerator or even a stove. I would much rather own a juicer before I ever bought any kind of stove myself, because a stove will actually heat up the nutrients. You'll burn and brown carbohydrates and char meats, create toxins, whereas juicing will liberate the phytonutrients, create anti-cancer compounds in the process of juicing things like broccoli sprouts and broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables that are a lot more valuable to me than a stove, but maybe you guys love your stoves. But that being said, what's most important to me on the machines, unlike a stove or a refrigerator that may only have a 1-year warranty, a long warranty in an investment in a juicer, which in my opinion is the most important investment you can make in your health, you know, because the more you drink juice, in my opinion, and the experience and what I've seen, the healthier you will be, because it will be displacing other foods that are not as healthy as fresh vegetable juices, okay? Nonetheless, the warranty on the Hurom is 2 years on the juicing parts right here, and 10 years. Whoa, look at that. That thing is huge. Not kidding, guys. This thing is huge, and that's one of the cons, in my opinion. This is a big thing to store. Anyways, on the motor, there's a 10-year warranty, which is a pretty good warranty. But, you know, here's the thing. Some juicers in the market have a full 15-year warranty on the entire machine. My favorite at this time is the Santa 727, link down below to my video on the Santa 727 versus the NAMA J2. Now over on the NAMA side, right, the parts also have a 2-year warranty, but I also have been heard from NAMA, from the president himself, out of literally the horse's mouth, that if you should have issues after the 2 years, they will take care of you, although this is not in writing. But on the motor base, they are giving you 15 years. So just on paper, this machine has 5 extra years on the motor base than the Hurom. So that alone, you know, how much does extended warranties cost, right? You don't need to buy an extended warranty. You got 5 extra years right here just by spending $100 less. And then potentially even a longer warranty on the juicing parts on the NAMA due to the commitment, the word that I have from the owner of the company. And you know, so far to date, my personal experience with the NAMA company and warranty support, and also hearing from some of my customers' feedbacks, you know, they have gotten very good support from NAMA. Meanwhile, I don't have any direct experience with support from Hurom USA, but I have heard in the past that Hurom USA hasn't had the best customer service. I don't know what your experience will be, but I'll tell you guys this. If you guys are worried about customer service, if you buy the NAMA directly from discountjuicers.com and you ever have a problem with the NAMA J2 that is a legitimate warranty claim and they're not taking care of you, then you let me know and I will make sure they take care of you, because I'm on your side, because I want you to be able to juice and I want the manufacturers to live up to their warranty claims, especially if you buy it from me. Now, if you don't buy it from me, then I can't help you. All right, so warranty and price, you know, I believe this favors the NAMA. But what about performance? What about the machine design? Well, let's get into that right now. We're gonna go ahead part by part, compare each part with literally a fine-tooth comb and show you guys all the even minute differences that may make a difference when juicing. You'll also determine which design is a better and more efficient design in my personal opinion and based on the designs. All right, so let's take a look at this. First thing coming out, the pushers. Look at these pushers, guys. They're like basically identical. I mean, probably off the same mold. I mean, they're pretty much the same thing. So yeah, pushers even, you can't really say anything about them. Next, let's go ahead and take off this whole top set. That's a top set over on the Hurom and over on the NAMA. This is the top set over on the NAMA. You guys can see that, you know, the orientations are a little bit different. The NAMA has 2 collection jugs that sit on either side that I'll show you guys in a little bit. Whereas the Hurom, you only have 1 collection jug for the juice that comes out right out the front. Whereas on the NAMA, it comes out the sides. You have the controls in the front and actually the controls in the back. And in the back of the Hurom, you actually have a little pulp catch bin, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But otherwise, you know, these machines look pretty much the same, but they're a lot different, guys. So, all right, let's go ahead and start with these top parts. You can pop off these lids. If you pop off the NAMA lid, this is what it looks like, and you pop off the Hurom lid, this is what it looks like. So they pretty much look the same, but you guys can't see the 3D on the camera. You just guys see in 1D. And if you guys were here to see this, maybe we can hold it this ways. Anyways, the NAMA, this has a hole where you can feed in things after you're done filling the hopper. This hole, there's actually a nice rake on it, or like, this is like a little funnel, so it kind of concaves down. Think like a volcano kind of falls in, so if you like put something in there, it'll kind of just, gravity will kind of roll it down in there. Whereas on the Hurom, it's basically almost like a flat top, it's a flat top with a hole, so you put something on here, you know, you gotta flick it in, so it's not quite as efficiently designed. Otherwise, these parts on the bottom are pretty much the same. The latching mechanism is a little bit different. There's like a little arm that comes down on the Hurom for a safety switch. The safety switch lever is right here on the NAMA, but otherwise they're pretty much kind of very similar parts. They almost look like to be knockoffs of one another. All right, next let's go ahead and take off the hopper bowl. This is what really makes these machines unique compared to any other juicer on the market at this time, because you get to load these up with produce, turn the machine on, and literally walk away. Well, I know you could do that on the NAMA. I'm not sure about the Hurom because I haven't tried it yet. And link down below to my video on how you literally could make recipes easily by prepping the night before and just dumping the contents of your pre-prep vegetables into the NAMA. That is truly the power and value of the NAMA, so that you could have hands-free juicing that will save you guys some time. Now, will these hoppers look pretty much the same? I mean, they're pretty much the same height. If we line these up top to top, actually, they're pretty much the same identical diameter. if we look at the bottom of these guys, they even look pretty close to the same on the bottom too. I mean, the bearing color in the middle is a little bit different, but it even has the same star pattern, the same star driver pattern that drives this processing blade inside here, which actually looks pretty much, actually not quite identical. It looks similar, but it's a little bit different actually. So the NAMA processing blade actually has a tip that actually comes up to a point, whereas, you know, and kind of points up, whereas this one kind of just points out. But otherwise, the designs of these processing blades look fairly similar to me. Oh, I know, the rake on this blade goes up a little bit higher, whereas this one kind of drops a little bit lower. So this means that this one will be able to get underneath things a little bit more effectively and kind of push it in to the machine. So that means it may be a little bit more auto feeding. Of course, I have not compared this yet, but that's what I would surmise by looking at it. Both of these guys have a fill line that you should not fill past, because if you close things in too much, you may have issues with your hinge breakage. Now the other thing that's pretty considerably different, if you guys look, they're both handles on these guys, but these handles are just a little bit different, right? This is a rounded handle with no nooks and crannies, so it's a lot more comfortable to hold, you know, as you're holding it, plus it's made for smaller hands. Whereas this handle is a lot more bigger, a lot fatter. So if you're like a giant, an ogre, you could grab this better. But to me, and I have a normal size hand, I grab this and it's just a little bit uncomfortable. The other thing you'll notice is that there's some lines in here, and you could get dirt and juice particles and things trapped inside this little area, and it's actually on both sides. It's gonna make cleaning a little bit harder, plus it's not as comfortable when you're holding it compared to like a nice curved part. Otherwise, they look pretty much the same. So the curved part, comfortable to hold, and maybe a more efficient processing blade. So on this part, we're gonna have to give it to the NAMA. Same thing on the feed chute parts. I'm gonna have to give these feed chute parts to the NAMA due to the more impressive design of the little funnel. Next, let's go ahead and look at the augers on both machines. This should be quite interesting. Well, you look at that. Both augers look to be very similar. They both have little divots inside there that is said to dampen the noise. And the J2 auger is a little bit taller because it actually has this gearing on the bottom that actually drives the wiping blade that can allow you to get a higher extraction and keep your screen a little bit cleaner. Whereas the H200 does not have that on the bottom. So if we just, I gotta compare them this direction here. So if we compare them this direction, it looks like they're pretty much about the same, you know, length, or the same run. So they're about the same run on that, aside from the little gearing. And then onto the design. I mean, the design looks pretty much the same on both augers. Oh, the one difference is that the NAMA has a built-in inset of stainless steel that it rests on inside the juicer, whereas the Hurom, it actually has a kind of a inset stainless steel, but not on the bottom, but in the inside, which is quite interesting. The other thing I will say is that the Hurom actually has a better recess in here to make it easier to clean than the NAMA J2, where it's a little bit more narrow underneath the bottom of the auger. So on the auger parts, I mean, you know, I could go either way. I probably like the Hurom part because it has a larger bottom opening, and they look pretty much the same. You know, the same, almost exact same design if we line these up, which is, you know, kind of funny. So on this part, the auger, I'd say the Hurom, because it has a bit less area, because it doesn't have the teeth here, but that's also going to be a con in the future. But it has a larger area to clean. Otherwise, these are pretty much the same exact parts. So that's kind of funny. Next, coming out, we got the juicing screen assembly. So on the NAMA J2, we have the standard stainless steel juicing screen with the holes on there. This is the kind of screen I prefer, actually. And then we have an automatic wiping blade. This is one extra part to clean. And once again, we got the gears on the bottom that is driven by the gears on the bottom of the auger. And the goal of this part is to spin around as the machine is running. to wipe the screen down to keep it clean, keep the juices flowing, and create less buildup inside your juicing bowl. Over on the Hurom side, you have basically two parts coming out. And this is their screenless design. So the screenless design basically goes together like that. And what happens is the juice comes out between the holes and the screens as you put these together. So technically you have two parts to clean here, 1, 2. And over on this side you have two parts to clean, 1, 2. That being said, juice pulp can get stuck in these holes, but it's pretty pulp sticking resistant compared to other auger vertical juicers I've tested against other brand auger juicers I've tested. So pulp generally doesn't get too clogged in there, but you do need to brush it down, so that will take some time. I'm relatively fast at scrubbing down the screen. I get a large IKEA dish brush instead of the smaller brush that comes with the machine. And then over on this screen, I usually take it apart and then I scrub down all sides. So I scrub down this side, I scrub down this side, and same thing, I scrub down this side and this side to try to get in all the nooks and crannies where juice could, you know, touch and start accumulating, and you could start accumulating mineral deposits. Because of all the different shapes of this, and like it's not a flat surface, it's a little bit easier, harder to clean. I'm not a super big fan. They say that this is easier to clean than this assembly. I mean, I could see how that could be it if you just rinse it, but you know, I always encourage you guys to scrub your screens, get all that buildup off after every use. But the main con of this screen is that it may get clogged up when you're juicing large volumes like bulk juicing. It will also put more pulp in the juice, and most people don't want extra pulp in their juice. They could use a vacuum blender to do that and probably make a less yield because there'll be more wetter pulp coming out because it's not as efficient as having all the surface area and all the holes on this screen, because there's a lot less surface area for the juice to come out of on this screen. So your yield will be lower, more than likely, more pulp in the juice, and may have clogging. It may not even do nut milks, you know, depending on how much you're doing, because the nut pulp may clog these little pores here, and it's unlikely to clog all the pores in your screen due to the design of this one. So actually on these two assemblies, which one do I like more? Well, I'm going to say I like the traditional NAMA J2 style. In the past experiences when I've used it comparing against the screenless design, I do get higher yields and I get less pulp in the juice, and it just works a lot better. And I'm a bulk juicer, so bulk juicing might not work for me in the Hurom, and that's an important feature that I want. Alright, lastly, let's go to the bowls here. Each of these bowls look fairly similar, but they're kind of different, so that's the top view. They're both kind of raised up in the middle. Now here's a big difference actually. If you look at the NAMA bowl, like it's basically all flat on the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's this flat on the bottom with the, yeah, it's basically all flat on the bottom. So that makes cleaning a lot easier, aside from the little, you know, part that comes up that the motor shaft goes into. Over on the Hurom part, if you guys look into the bottom there, there's all these ridges, and it's a multi-step, so it's stepped. There's like a couple different layers in here. There's a top layer, a mid layer, and maybe a bottom layer. So there's almost like 3 stages in here, and every different corner stage where there's a corner, that's where, you know, there you get mineral buildup, and it's harder to clean. So I'm not a big fan of that. Although I am a fan that the way they design this is that when this is sitting flat, this is raked down automatically, so the juice will come out the spout. Oftentimes on many juicers, I actually have to tip the juicer up to get the juice to come out. But on this, because of the way it's designed, the juice will just fall out automatically. So actually, I like that feature a lot. Other thing I like about the Hurom is that they actually have a nice wide area where the juice comes out, so now you can get in there and really clean easily. They can't do this because they don't have a spinning brush that if you stick your finger in there, it's going to hit and may cause injury. So I do like that a lot. And then over on the NAMA side, you know, they have a much more smaller hole there and a little peg there that prevents you to put your finger in there. They also have a little gear in here that spins the wiping blade that you do and will need to have to clean. And also, when this is sitting flat, it's basically sitting flat so that some of the juice may collect in here, so when you're done juicing, you might want to tip this up to get all the juice to come out. The other thing that's interesting is that the NAMA part is marked up to basically 500 milliliters, whereas the Hurom has no such marking. That being said, I never encourage you guys to leave the juice flap down when juicing and collect the juice inside to let it rotate inside, because when you're doing that, the juice is sitting in the pulp that's coming out, so your pulp may be wetter, you may lose a little bit of yield, and also especially with a wiping blade, your juice is getting spun around a bit more through the auger and the wiping blade, which may introduce more air into the juice, so I'm not a big fan of that. Going to the last part on here, they both have the feature of the easy clean Pulp Outlet chute. So you have this little thing you snap down and this basically drops open so you guys can get in there and easily clean it. It has a straight run through. Both these parts have this same kind of deal where you just pop this down and the bottom drops out. But if we look at that, they're a little bit different. I don't know if you guys could see that there. We'll start with the NAMA first. The NAMA actually has a larger hole in the bottom of the bowl there to let the pulp out, and it has a smaller removable flap. Don't lose this flap. I already had a customer that lost this flap, went down the garbage disposal or something. You can use a juicer without this flap, but be aware what'll happen is you're just going to get a lower yield and your pulp will be wetter. So, you know, be conscious of not losing this flap. Most times I just clean it with the flap installed. Once a week I'll take the flap out and get underneath there. I find that there's not a lot of pulp that gets underneath there. So this is pretty much a straightforward, it's flat on the bottom, so the pulp comes out a larger hole. You have this little silicone flap that provides the back pressure, and the pulp just comes out, and it's super simple, super easy to open up. Now over on the Hurom side, a little bit different story. You have that same pulp flap, but instead of this being flat on the bottom, it's a smaller hole. So the smaller hole may mean that on things like celery and fibrous vegetables like kale stalks, this may clog up with fibers and cause a backup and jamming issue. It's extremely rare that I ever back up or clog or jam the NAMA J2 due to its design, and trust me, I have tried. I think I did it like once when I really tried really hard, but for most people, I don't think you're going to be able to get that thing to clog up. Now on this one I haven't tested, but the Pulp Hole is you know, smaller. The other thing is not in the same plane, so it's, you know, on the NAMA it's flat and it's just a little hole. On this it's a multi-dimensional plane, so it's like multi-step. So once again, there's more curvature and more little right angles or angles that could get clogged with pulp. In addition, this little part here is orange, so it's going to show stains more than the black one on the NAMA. Also, it's a lot larger piece. So, you know, I'm thinking that I currently like the NAMA a little bit better because of the larger hole, the smaller piece, and just the flat opening. It's going to be a little bit easier to clean. Now on the bottom, you guys can see the NAMA also is basically just flat on the bottom. Usually you don't have to clean the bottom. But over on the Hurom, you know, there's like all this ribbing, which is cool because it's probably reinforcement to make the part stronger. But also, like, if you do get pulp or juice or something clogged in here, that's gonna be a pain in the butt to clean, in my opinion. So yeah, between these two parts, they have pretty much the same function. You know, though, I like the rake on this, but I like the opening on that. But otherwise, I like the NAMA just because it's flat on the bottom. The pulp port is larger, which means less customer problems with jamming and clogging in the end. Yeah, so that's, and it has markings on it. Alright, so that's pretty much it. So I got all the parts here. Next, let's go ahead and show you guys how to assemble these machines. Both these machines I will assemble off the base and then put the whole assembly on top of the base. Okay, so on the NAMA, first part is you're going to go ahead and take the screen, take the wiping blade, put the screen in there. You got two little protrusions that come out, one's small, one's big. You just drop those in, the small and the big one. They drop down, super simple, super easy. The auger just gets put in place. You then take your feed chute top, and I always take this back part and line it up with this part, and then just locks in place. I then take the top and just put that in place on the hinge and lock it in place. Super simple, super easy. On the Hurom, a little bit different story. This was a little bit complex for me to figure out when I did this the first time. you got all these ribbings, you know, that come out that fit into these little ribbings here. But then I'm like, how does this part go in? And then it's like, I'm trying to put this in, it doesn't go in unless you like line it up properly. And then it just totally will drop in. Yeah, and then next thing is you put the auger in, just goes right in place. And once again, you got to put this part on. Now this is a bit tricky. So on this guy, it has to assemble so that the handle is right above the juice spout. So you put it to one side and just lock it in place. Over on the NAM, it's a lot easier to kind of visually look at because you have this whole back part that has to line up, so you know you don't assemble it improperly. With this, I have to think a bit more. Over on the Hurom, I then take this top and it just kind of snaps in place, and then it just goes in place, and now your top sets are completely built. Other thing I forgot to mention earlier is I want you guys to look at these hopper bins, right? If we look at these hopper bins, right, this one is a little bit more clear. You could more clearly and easily see through there. This one's a little bit more darker, deeper tinge. Now this may look cool, but to me, it's not quite as functional because it's important for you to kind of look in there and kind of see what's left in there so that you know if you could pop open the lid and fill it up some more. So I really like the color of the plastic. And actually, I would prefer that actually is even more clear than the J2, but this one to me is just way too dark. Now next thing, we're gonna go over the motor bases, and the motor bases are significantly different. They basically have a similar wattage motor in my estimation, but there's a lot of things different with these motor bases. Number one that you could clearly see is the size. The Hurom is at least 2 times as big as the NAMA. So the footprint on the countertop, just of the motor base alone, is smaller on the NAMA, so it'll take less counter space because the Hurom is a lot more clunky and large of a footprint, but also a lot taller. You know, this is a lot easier to deal with and handle because it is small. Another thing that's different about these two machines is that the NAMA has the control button, which is a turn knob, right? You know, turn to on, go back the other direction for like a momentary reverse. It's on the front, so you can easily access the controls. Should the machine be overloaded, you could stop it and reverse it and turn it back on and off. It's very simple and easy to use. Meanwhile, the juice comes out the front of the Hurom, but yet they put the button all the way on the back. And it's just a toggle switch button like old school style. You can press it on or press it reverse. I've noticed that if you have it on reverse and then you just flip it to on, it'll still be going in reverse and your juicer will not operate properly due to the switch design on the NAMA. That's much less likely to happen and very difficult to get it to do that, because trust me, I've tried. Now the other thing different on the Hurom is on the back of the Hurom you can see the cord coming out. This is a non-removable cord. It's stuck in there, so I can't pull it out. That makes things very inconvenient. I actually have a number of appliances in my kitchen that use this standard IEC cord. So I just leave this plugged into my kitchen, leave that on the countertop, and I just move the juicer away. And look at that, that's so light I could just pick it up and put it away if I don't want to leave it on my counter. That being said, I would encourage you guys to leave your juicer on your counter. Why? Because that means you will see it more and you will use it more and you'll get the benefits of juice more if you see your juicer more. But yeah, this has a detachable cord that you could also get a replacement, you know, if you wanted to get a longer cord, for example, because if you're further away from your outlet in your kitchen or wherever you're choosing to use your juicer. Of course, both these machines are made in South Korea and they both have a 30-minute duty cycle, which means you should not use it for more than 30 minutes because you may overheat the motors, which will shorten the life and or cause the motors to fail. The other thing I really want to mention is that on the back of the Hurom you have a built-in pulp container port, and this pulp collection bin is very small. This is not a good thing if you want to bulk juice. This thing is going to fill up so fast, it's not even going to be funny. So you're going to have to empty this a lot more often. The other thing that's interesting is that they have all these fins here, and that's maybe where the fan is, and the fan is literally blowing into the pulp collection bin there without a lot of places for the air to go, which is, to me, not super intelligent. You know, there are some holes and fins on here in the back that this is open to free air, so this may be more effective at cooling itself down should you actually use it longer than 30 minutes. So I think to me the main negatives of the Hurom in this case is that this thing is just a super gigantic and huge. You know, a lot of people don't have a big kitchens, and this is just too big, too bulky to deal with. In addition, I'm not a fan of, because this is a lot larger, it's a lot more area to clean. If you get juice drips or drops or anything, there's a lot more places things could get dirty, dust could collect on this whole big thing. In addition, the on-off switch is in the back, not as convenient as the switch on the front, and the plug is non-removable, and that pulp collection bin is quite small and built in. Some may see the built-in thing as a benefit. I see it as a hindrance, because once again, I bulk juice. I don't make like 20 ounces in one shot. If you're making 20 ounces in one shot, this might be good for you. But then again, you know, I would rather have the NAMA where you can bulk juice and have the flexibility to do so, especially if you have a large family. Everybody could make their own different juices, and then you only have to clean the juicer actually once. And I demonstrate this in my video down below. Now the safety on the Hurom that's actually in this little tab here, which is a protrusion, I'm kind of thinking they're using some kind of magnetic sensor in there, whereas on the NAMA they have like a little peg right here with a little hole, and that's just more of a standard switch. I kind of like the switch design a little more than this magnet design. I have seen the magnet design fail on previous style juicers made in the Hurom factory. So we just assemble that on top, drops right in, and assemble this right on top, drops right in. Super simple, super easy. Now both these machines come with a few different accessories. I'm not going to show those to you guys today, but this machine also has a screen you could use for juicing fruits, so that will let even more pulp into your juice. The NAMA over here also has the screen for fruits, or they call it a smoothie screen, because it'll allow more pulp to go into your juice. In addition, the Hurom also has a sorbet screen, and this is something that the NAMA does not have. NAMA may come out with a sorbet screen in the future, but it wasn't like the lowest hanging fruit when they launched it initially. So if all you guys had bought a J2 right into NAMA and say, we want a sorbet screen, right? Guess what? They will listen to customers. They will do it. If I tell them to make one, I mean, they're like, okay, yeah, John, we get you. But if you guys write in, every one of you guys, like 5,000 people write into NAMA and say, we want a sorbet screen, guess what? They're going to finally get off their you-know-whats, and they're going to make a sorbet screen for you guys, and they're going to start including it. Because this machine can do sorbet with the screen if they make one. But if they don't make one, you can do sorbet with the juicing screen, although it may void your warranty and may break your machine. Maybe I'll have a video on that in the future, but it's not too hard. I mean, the way you would do it is you would just go ahead and take out this silicone flap in the bottom and just allow your produce, your frozen fruits to thaw out a little bit. Don't put super rock hard things in there. Drop in there one at a time. Don't load up your feed chute hopper like you would for juicing, and then it should work. That being said, this probably may void your warranty and may break your juicer, so I don't advise you, nor can I advise you to do that. I'm just saying that it could do it if you wanted to, but more importantly, reach out to NAMA on their website and say, we want our sorbet screen for the J2, and trust me, if enough of you guys write in, they will make one. Mark my words. They are a customer-centric company that listen to customers' feedback and improve their machines to meet the demands of their customers, because they understand the customers are job one. All right, the other things that come with the machines are recipe books. So if we look at the NAMA recipe book, then look at the Hurom recipe book. Look at that. Look at the size of the recipe books, right? The NAMA recipe book is like half the size of the Hurom. Does that mean the Hurom recipe book is twice as good? Actually, it doesn't. Well, it depends. So the Hurom recipe book, it's in English, Dutch, German, France, Spanish, Italian, like Polish, Poliski, and Portuguese. Wow, multi-languages. But because it's in all these languages, that makes up the majority of the book, where actually the English, because I only speak English, is basically like 23 pages worth, and then it gets into the German. So you have 23 pages of, recipes and information, mostly recipes though, whereas in the NAMA recipe book, right, it's only in English. But the other thing is that they do a lot more than just recipes. They talk about the philosophy, they talk about cold press juicing, they talk about enjoying the rainbow and why you should juice all the different colors and different kinds of ingredients and selecting the ingredients and how to store juice and how to layer your juicer to use it properly, and that they're here to help, and all the recipes, and they even get into, like, at the end, the different fruits and vegetables and what they're good for and how to process them properly, and then herbs and spices and how you could juice those, and even, like, they talk about seasonality of fruits. And in the end of this book, I think it's like 70 pages, so it's like almost like 3 times as much information as the Hurom book, despite the Hurom book being a lot thicker. That's because it's in multi-languages. So yeah, between these two books, who's going to win? I'd say the NAMA. Once again, I don't think I declared a winner between the motor bases. Between the motor bases, I'd say also the NAMA. Now, I do need to mention that the Hurom has a 1-up on the NAMA because the Hurom is available in this silver color, a white color, and a black color. Meanwhile, the NAMA is only available in 2 colors, the white and the black. The black has been selling better than the white, but actually I like the white one a little bit better myself because it looks a lot cleaner to me. And generally it doesn't get too stained if you're using it properly. It shouldn't really get any collections of stains. But then again, if you have a stainless steel kitchen, the black will sure look a lot better than a white one. Now, the other things included are, of course, the catch cups to catch your juice. Over on the Hurom, you have a catch cup labeled up to 1,000 milliliters. That's actually raised up so you can kind of see it a little bit better and you could actually feel it. That goes right underneath to catch the juice as it comes out. Meanwhile, over on the NAMA, you also have that same juice catch cup. And look at this, guys. Do these guys look identical to you? I mean, they pretty much look identical to me. The only difference between these catch cups is that this is basically screened on. So it's a little bit more difficult to read because it's kind of like ice screened on. So it's like kind of clear, kind of a bit harder to see. They might want to like put this in a white or some kind of color to make it look like more easily to see. This is a little bit more easy to see because it's actually built into the mold on there. But they basically are the same exact size to catch your juices. But what is significantly different is the pulp catch bin. You know, the juice catch goes on that side, the pulp catch goes on this side. And look at this. This pulp catch bin is over 1,000 milliliters because we could put this inside here. You know, what am I going to estimate? I don't even know, like 1,500 milliliters on here. And let's go ahead and take out the catch cup of the Hurom. The Hurom, look at that. That's long and tall and narrow. I mean, what are you going to say that is? I'm going to guess, all right? I'm going to say that's like 1/3, maybe even 1/4 of the size of this catch cup. Look at that. That's completely insane. This is not going to hold enough catch cup to make like 2 juices if you're John Kohler. Maybe most people don't juice as much as I do, but maybe they should. So yeah, so the catch cups, I'm going to say go with the NAMA. Holds a lot more for when you catch your pulp. That can actually be quite important for bulk juicing, which is what I like to do. So what do you guys think so far? Leave your comments down below. Do you think the NAMA at the halfway point of this video is better than the Hurom H200? The Hurom H200 costs, you know, $150 more, has 5-year less warranty on the motor body itself, potentially a lower parts warranty, only 2 years, probably pretty strict, whereas this is maybe a flexible 2-year parts warranty. Pulp Catch Cup is bigger. This thing is big and bulky, bigger footprint. This is a lot more sleek, better design, better rake, better rake on the processing blade to draw things in, easier handle, funnel there that helps funnel things in. The standard screen design that will get a higher yield can more easily make nut milks and do bulk juicing. As I've shown, I've juiced up to 2 gallons in one sitting without cleaning this juicer. I do that on a regular basis, actually. Don't tell the owners. Which is probably takes me a little bit longer than a half hour for sure. But the J2 has always powered through it and never failed me. Meanwhile, you know, I haven't yet used the Hurom, but you know, I'm sure it probably would work. But the screenless design may get clogged also after large juicing. So actually, let's go ahead and do a juice off comparison next to see which juicer will reign supreme in this juice off. So now we're all set up and ready to juice. The first step is let's do a weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. All right, let's go ahead and do a weigh-in over on the Hurom side. Looks like we got 1,667 grams. Over on the NAMA side, once again, same amount of produce, 1,667 grams. Let's go ahead and back up and show you guys 1,667 on both scales. Today we're juicing organic carrots, half of a beet, organic apples, cucumber, and lime. So now that we got the weigh-in out of the way, let's go ahead and remove the scales out of the equation. I think today first I'll be juicing in the NAMA J2 to see how that does. The other thing, we're going to go ahead and time for you guys to see how long it takes to juice. Now, keep in mind, both these machines run at 50 revolutions per minute, so they should make a very similar quality juice and be done in approximately the same amount of time. That being said, depending on how the produce is layered and put in, it may hit it right or not right. Also, the processing blade, maybe in my opinion, is a bit more efficient on the NAMA than the Hurom. Maybe that will play for a difference or not. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to try to do the best of my ability to load these pretty much the same way. Alright, so the first step is we're going to go ahead and open the top, and we're going to go ahead and hit the start button and load this up. So always first load in your soft items. So we're just going to go ahead and crunch the cucumbers up, drop in that lime, and put in all these apples here on the bottom. And then we're just going to go ahead and break our carrots up to fit in. This way you could kind of fit a few more carrots than if you put them in like large. Not super difficult to just break them up into a few pieces. Looks like we may have to, fill the hopper up twice to get it to work, because looks like we're pretty much already full. You don't want to overfill the hopper. I like to maybe shake it down a little bit, lock it and load it up, and then we can go ahead and turn this on and let it process. Oops, and we overloaded. That's what happens when you overload it. We'll take a couple carrots out of there and we'll drop the top back down. Alright, as that is going, you could probably let it run and finish out completely, but what I'm going to do to save some time in this instance is we're just going to go ahead and as the level goes down, we're just going to drop a piece in at a time to kind of keep this filled up from pretty much the top. In order to save you guys some time, we're going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up for you guys. Alright, so we're just about done juicing in the NAMA. How you will know it is done is, number one, there'll be nothing left in the hopper there. I can see it's pretty much empty, but you want to wait for the pulp here to stop coming out. The pulp is still moving. That means there's, pulp in the juicer that is still working its way through, and if you turn off the machine now, you're going to have a lot more residue left inside the machine. The other thing you will notice to determine when it's done or not is that the tone of the juicer may change, because as it's empty, you're going to hear it maybe run a little bit faster, get a little bit louder like it is, plus the pulp stop. So we could turn that off. We're going to go ahead and hit stop here. As you can see, it took 5 minutes and 57 seconds to juice in the NAMA J2 juicer. Next, we're going to go ahead and juice in the Hurom. Alright, before we juice in the Hurom, one thing I want to point out is even in the NAMA, we didn't even make that much juice. We made, like, I don't know, 700 milliliters of juice, and look at all this pulp we created. I mean, literally, we filled up this Pulp Catch bin, and on the Hurom, the Pulp Catch bin is significantly smaller, so we can't even juice 700 milliliters of juice because the Pulp Catch bin is so small, or we're going to have to stop and empty it or something while it's running? Well, I don't know what's going to happen, so let's find out. So first step, once again, we're going to go ahead and open this top up. We're going to go ahead and hit start there for you guys. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and load it up pretty much the same way. Lime, cucumber, drop in all these apples first. Then we're going to go ahead and break up the carrots into pieces. Alright, don't want to overload it and turn it on. And we're off to the races. You can see the juices coming out and the pulp, you can't see it, but it's coming out and dropping out the back slowly, very slowly. Alright, so we're just about done juicing in the Hurom H200, and it has not been uneventful like the Nama J2. It's so easy with this. The pulp bin filled up, then I had to empty it, and then like there's so much pulp caught in the sieve, and then yeah, not really feeling the H200 personally. Alright, so pretty much, let's see, it's hard to see if the pulp stopped flowing out the back. Really hard to see in there, but we can see that the juices pretty much stopped flowing, and then I'm hearing the motor kind of speed up. I think we're pretty much done juicing. So we can go ahead and turn that off and take a look at the time here. So that took 6 minutes and 59 seconds. So that took more time than the Nama. I had to stop it and empty the pulp container. It just wasn't a fun thing to do. In addition, we're going to go ahead and also, I always like to tip up these guys, so we're tip that up, get all the juice out. We're going to close that juice spout. Let's go. I always like to lower this out and get any kind of pulp. Just push it into the pulp bin. And I want to show you guys this actually. So number one, we're going to go show you guys what's left in the chamber, so you guys can see inside the chamber there. There's pretty much like just some small residue left, nothing left in there. Then I want you guys to do a close-up look like inside the machine. Can you guys see that? I mean, there's a little bit of pulp left in there, some ground-in pulp in the screen, if you guys see that. And then over on this side, we're going to go ahead and take this out and tip that down. Close this. We're going to drop this down and get the pulp out of here. Wow, it's a lot more clogged into this Pulp Outlet port. It's a lot easier to clear out on the Nama side. It's just like stuck in because actually this, instead of come straight out, it actually has curves down. That's a bad thing to do in my opinion. But the next thing is I want you guys to look inside there. You guys see inside there? Like there's just literally like ground up pulp, right? Coming through the juice screen, or you know, there's no screen, so it's just the little slits in the Screenless Design that's easy to clean. And once again, you don't get something for nothing in life. You want a Screenless Design that is quote unquote easy to clean. You're gonna get a lot more pulp in your juice. I mean, look at that. That's just like, the pulp is just barreling out of there. I mean, this to me, I wouldn't even personally call it a juicer, but that's just my personal opinion. In addition, as you guys can see, this Pulp Catch bin, we got one bin that actually had to get separately, and then this other bin, you know, that's already half full. So we literally couldn't really even juice that much. I mean, literally we made 24 ounces. So after 12 ounces, I'm going to say you got to stop and empty your bin. You can't just walk away because you could fill this up. Maximum fill capacity, I estimate you could probably make about 24 ounces of juice. But that's 2 times as much as you could put in the bin than you could collect in the Pulp Catch bin that's built in. So like, to me, like, they didn't really think about the design element too much. I'm not exactly sure what they're thinking when they designed this. In addition, let's go ahead and get these parts back out the way here for you guys. And I want to show you guys, actually, look at the pulp that was generated on each of these machines. It's totally insane, all right? So I always like to tap down the pulp patties. We got pretty much all the juice out of that. We're going to go ahead and get the juice all out of the Nama patty. Not much left. But look at this. This is insane. Like, this is completely insane. Look at all the pulp that's left in the Hurom. And we're going to go ahead and compare that to the pulp left in the Nama, right? A lot less pulp. You guys might not be able to see that, but I'm going to estimate. I'm usually pretty good at these estimations. I'm going to say there's 120% more pulp in the Hurom. And to verify that, let's go ahead and get my scale and weigh it out. Zero out that scale, baby. Weigh out the pulp on the Nama. 23 grams of pulp right here on the Nama. Make sure our scale is zeroed out. Tap that down. 23 grams versus 64 grams. Oh, that's like definitely more than twice, approaching like 3 times. So that's like 2.5 times more pulp. 23 grams versus 64 grams. That's insane. If you guys like pulpy juices, then you might want to get the Hurom. That being said, neither of these machines include a sieve for you guys to strain out your juice, so you would actually have to buy one separately. I think the Hurom should definitely include a sieve for those of you guys that don't want to drink a pulpy juice. To me, there's not a lot of pulp in the Nama juice, so you could just drink it without straining it if you don't really mind. I mean, there's not a big deal with pulp in the juice. But to me, I'm juicing not to make a smoothie, but to make a juice, all right? So next, let's go ahead and see what really counts. Let's go ahead and see how much each juicer yielded. All right, let's go ahead and give a close-up on the yields for you guys. Over on the Nama side, looks like we basically got right at about 700 milliliters of juice. And over on the Hurom side, let's see, looks like we got 675 or 670. We'll go with 670. 670 milliliters of juice. So clearly, you guys can see the height difference. The Nama J2 made more juice for sure. All right, so as you guys just saw, the Nama J2 made, I don't know, a little bit less than 5% more juice. So, whoa, 5% more juice. Well, it made more, but the other thing was the hassle of having to change this out. Plus, just all the pulp in the juice. To me, that's the juicer that makes the most pulp in the juice out of any juicer I've ever tested in my life. For a slow juicer anyway, that's insane. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and try the juice. I don't think the juices are going to taste significantly different. They both run at 50 RPMs, made with pretty much the same auger and design. Maybe the difference is after straining out the juice using the sieve, will more pulp be left in this side because there's just a lot more pulp that came out of the juice in the first place. Nice smooth juice in the J2. And probably next time I'd probably put like a quarter lime instead of a half lime. It's pretty limey. I mean, that's a pretty good juice. Really fine. I tasted zero particulate in there after using the sieve. Over on the Hurom side, pretty much the same flavor, same taste after using the sieve. Zero pulp as well. I mean, to me, these juices are pretty much comparable in quality. What was not comparable was that the Hurom has a 5-year shorter warranty, costs $150 more, put 2.5 times more pulp in the juice, made about a little bit less than 5% less juice, was more of a hassle to use because I actually had to trade this out. I couldn't just walk away to this machine. It required more babysitting because if this just starts backing up, I don't know, will more pulp in your juice happen? Or will it just start backing up because now the pulp can't go out? It's got to go somewhere. It's going to back up inside the machine, make a mess. I don't exactly know what's going to happen. That's going to be very interesting. But yeah, made too much pulp. Like, to me personally, I would never buy the Hurom H200. I would buy an older Hurom with their screen design actually. Before I got their H200, I'm not a fan of their easy, clean screen design, which is unfortunately the direction they are taking these days. I hope they improve it. I hope they make it so it has similar amounts of pulp to this, as good of a yield, and please guys, make your pulp catch bin bigger. And you know, I'm glad to help you guys design your machines better. I don't care who has the best juicer. I just want to be able to show it and let you guys know, and also I want to be able to use it for myself. Surely I will not be using an H200 after this demo comparison. I don't like it. It's going to go back, man. Like, inconvenient, too much pulp. There are much better juicers out there than the H200. I would encourage you guys to save your money. Don't get an H200. I know some of you guys already bought the H200. You're going to defend yourselves because like you want to think your juicer's good. Dude, trust me, I test all the juicers out there, all the major brands. I would say this is a lemon. I mean, I juiced limes today, but maybe this is a lime. I wouldn't get it, my personal opinion. I would say get the Nama J2. It's been a lot more solid performer for me. It's the juicer I choose along with the Santa 727 and also vacuum juicing with the Dyna Pro are my 3 favorite juicing styles to date. I'll be making a new video for 2023 since the new year is almost upon us. And those are the best 3 juicers that you will want to consider. Once again, for those of you guys in Europe, Just wait a little bit longer. First quarter, hopefully the J2 will be available in a European, Australian, and UK plug styles in 220, 230, 240 volts for people not inside the USA. You will be able to order it on the NamaWeld website and even use my coupon code DJJ210 for 10% or $55 off the price of the current Nama J2 juicer. Prices for the 220 versions may vary, so I'm not exactly sure on that. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of this episode. Always declare a winner. Of course, the winner of this episode is the Nama J2. If you guys want to get the Nama J2, you can buy it directly at discountjuicers.com. Link down below to purchase it directly on my website. If you want to purchase it direct from Nama, you can do that as well at namaweld.com. Make sure you use my coupon code, guys, DJJ210 for 10% off or $55 off your order. When you use my coupon code, they'll pay me a little commission that'll encourage me to make more videos for you guys and keep my lights running and being able to buy more produce. And it lets me know that you guys appreciate me. You can't use any coupon. Of course, you are free to use any coupon code, but using my coupon code will ensure that I get some of the credit and I share in the wealth. And hopefully I've helped you guys determine the right juicer, so you'll say, oh, that guy John, he helped me out. He made this video. He's got to clean all these juicers and deal with the Hurom. I'm going to support him by using his code or buying, better yet, buying at discountjuicers.com. Now, when you buy at discountjuicers.com, you get me as your personal liaison to answer all your questions, in addition to Nama themselves, if you should have any questions about your Nama. Sometimes Nama is not immediately available to answer your questions, but I generally, Monday through Friday, answer all your questions within 24 hours in general, and we'll get back to you with an answer. And if you guys, once again, don't have success getting Nama to support your warranty on legitimate warranty claims, right, let me know, and I'll ensure that they definitely take care of you. So there are benefits from purchasing direct from discount juicers instead of Nama. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to share this with other people that are considering buying a Hurom H200. There's a lot of amazing promotional videos that, you know, companies will put out the H200, but, you know, on my channel, you guys are going to see exactly what happens when you juice. I'm not going to cut any bull. I'm going to tell you guys like it is. I'm going to go over every part. As you guys learned, clearly the J2 is a superior juicer. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes that I come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what new juicers or vacuum blenders I'll be comparing. Coming up soon, guys. Stick with me. Santa 727 versus Green Star Pro. A lot of other videos also coming out too. Got a couple new appliances that I'll be testing and making videos about as well. So make sure you click the subscribe button and make sure you click the bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are wealth of knowledge, over 600 episodes comparing and contrasting all the different major brand juicers. I'll put a couple links down below to where I have compared the J2 to other juicers so you can see how it compares to other juicers on the market to ensure that you get the right exact juicer for you. Of course, in this juice off, I like the Nama, but depending on your specific needs, the Nama may or may not meet your needs. So I would encourage you guys to watch my other videos where I compare the Nama against other juicers. Unlike many influencers that promote the Nama only, I promote the Nama as well as other juicers on the market because, you know, my goal is not to sell you a Nama. I can care less what juicer I sell you. I just want to sell you juicer, number one. But more importantly than that, I want you guys to get the right juicer so that you can start juicing every day and get the health benefits that it has provided me personally and a lot of my customers that I hear from testimonials, from reversing their irreversible disease to losing weight to getting healthy to having more energy to feeling like a real human and not living in the Matrix anymore. I hear all these crazy testimonials, but it can do the same for you if you use your juicer every day. And that's why I make my videos. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.